Hello everybody, it's Bronze Braun, and today I have another unboxing and review video for you guys today. Now, this unboxing is quite different from the other ones I've done beforehand, because this is a system I have not really known since earlier this year. This is the AtGames Legends Flashback system. Now, AtGames normally sells game systems like that. It's the ones you find at Dollar General, Family Dollar, or your regular convenience store that have 20, 30, 50 games in one, and some of them are really bad that had the portable ones. You know the ones I'm talking about, the ones that have 200 games in one, and they look like if a Game Boy and a Virtual Boy had a kid together, and the 16-bit games are bad. Virtual Boy, I don't know, just you get the point. And then there's the ones that are like the Soldier Boy systems that are full-blown illegal. That come to have like 7,000 games in one, but they're like 12, and the rest are just changed colors, but the exact same game. This one is very different from those, however, because AtGames actually got the rights to put 50 games that are fully licensed onto this system. And these aren't just really bad rip-off games like Alex Kidd. These are games like 1942, Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers, Tetris, Mega Man's 1 and 2, and then Super... where is it? Wait, no, it's not Super. Ghouls and Ghosts. Those are actually really good games. I'm surprised AtGames got the rights to put them on this system. Now, if you guys might be familiar with AtGames, because in 2017, I do believe, they made the Sega Genesis Classic game console. This is just 81... Sega games in one. Even comes with a little slot to put your Sega Genesis games in. It comes with infrared wireless controllers, which, of course, Sega was known for infrared wireless controllers, I'm pretty sure. And most infrared systems nowadays are used in remotes for TVs and all that. But there was one flaw with it that, like, made it fall flat compared to, like, the Super Nintendo Classic or the Nintendo Classic. Of course, this, more likely than not, was better than the PlayStation Classic. I'm very sorry, that system is just very bad. But the one thing that it has that the others had better was the video output. This Sega Genesis had a yellow and white composite cables. This one I decided to get because it has an HDMI cable, and there's even a few more specs on it that are different than this one. So let me quickly go over those for you. Package includes Legends Flashback console, 50 built-in games, 2 wired controllers, micro USB power adapter, instruction manual. And it actually has a wired controller as compared to the Sega Genesis infrared wireless controller. I mean, they look exactly identical, except this one's got a menu button on it, opposed to this one just has the start button. But they have the typical A, B, C, X, Y, Z, the directional pad, start button, the whole bundle of what most systems like this will have. And normally I wouldn't get something like this because I consider it a waste of my money, but this was given to me as a gift because it was at my local Dollar General for half price. So instead of $45 like the label describes, I got it for just under $23. So I decided to give this a go and see if it was worth it or not, so let's get into it. Oh, I'll also say that the HDMI cable is not included, so I had to buy one at my local flea market for $3. One thing I gotta say is that the presentation on this was actually very nice. It displays everything very well like a Nintendo Classic would, and even shows all the games that come with on the very back. And it even has a an SD card slot, which piques my interest because you might be able to illegally put games on here because you can mod stuff like this with an SD card. That's what people did with the PlayStation Classic with the USB ports. Oh, well. Alright, just right out of the box. You just got cardboard with the instructions manual, and you got the whole thing right then and there. You probably could have made this with half the space. But, let's see what this is. This is more than likely the instructions manual. Okay. Like flashback, power buttons, the menu, slot for optional SD card. Yes, this does take an SD card. I thought it was a micro SD card, but no, it'll take a full-blown SD. What do I do when the power supply is not working? Micro USB adapter specification. Output needs to be at least 1 amp or higher. So I do have a lot of plugs. I have plugs that can I do have 1 amp plugs and stuff like that. Some Nintendo Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic can actually run on 1.2 amps instead of 1.5, because I learned this because I use a to save a power slot, because I have like 12 things plugged up at all times. In order to save a slot, I have them plugged up into a dual port that has 1.2 amps each, and the games run flawlessly. The reason why I look surprised is because this is a gold-plated HDMI port. It's gold-plated. I did not expect that. That's what that really caught my eye. But it looks nearly identical to the Sega Genesis. It's just a little bit smaller because it doesn't need that Sega Genesis game port. Of course, it still has the Player 1 and Player 2. No infrared though, so not that big of a deal. The 2 controllers probably still could work for the Sega Genesis Classic if you really want to do that nostalgic feeling of a wired controller, but the controllers are, they feel pretty decent for a third-party classic console. Buttons are nice and clicky. Wire looks nice. The controllers look nice. Oh, wait a second. I don't even need to do a micro USB plug-in, because this isn't even like this isn't like the Nintendo Super Nintendo Classics where it like comes with the separate micro USB cable. This actually has the whole plug right here and there. It's like 2013 all over again. Huh. That is actually, I did not expect that. A little bit of a letdown, because if I had like a 4-port USB thing, I could have put like the Sega Super Nintendo, the Nintendo Classic, and this one all into 1 port, but, you know, for $23, it's still not bad. But like I said, these controllers are near identical. The Legends Flashback one's a little bit bigger, a little bit wider. That way, probably you can get a better grip on it, and your hands won't clump together as much. But aside from that, there's literally nothing different. Yeah, it's just a little bit bigger. You expect a left and right button on here, but being a Legends Flashback, odds are most games would not use the left and right buttons. And even if it was, you could probably program it to be like they probably programmed it to be the Y and Z or something like that. But aside from that, there is really nothing else in this box. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just right to the point. Just cardboard, and that's the entire box right there. This is presented very well for a regular price, $45, and that's $15 cheaper than the Nintendo Classic, and almost half the price of the Super Nintendo Classic. And whenever the PlayStation Classic came out, this was literally less than half the price. I mean, now, of course, you can get the PlayStation Classic for, like, probably $20 from a lot of places. But this wasn't the only thing I'm going to do here. I'm actually going to play some of the games and see if it actually does things pretty well. I'm going to do a little bit of research and see if I can do stuff with the SD card, because I did do a little bit of research, just a smidge though, before I made this video. And turns out you can do firmware updates on this. And that really caught my eye more than anything, because the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo Classic, as far as I know, the PlayStation Classic don't even have that. The PlayStation Classic might, but that might be what the SD card slot's for, is for updates. So I'm going to see if that's a thing, but let me go ahead and run up OBS and see what this thing has to offer. Okay, so I'm at the menu right now, and I've got everything set up. So one thing I did want to point out before I continue is that I probably need to turn the volume down, but there's a little indicator on the bottom of the system, or the top, the bottom of the top of the system, if that makes sense. It's right here where the between the on and off and the menu text, and whenever it's turned off, the red light even lights up just a little bit to let you know that it's got enough power to turn on. I thought that was a nice little touch. I expected the menu to be crap like the Sega Genesis one did, but this surprisingly looks really good for a third-party system. Like the menu does. And everything's responsive. Well, the menu is anyway. OBS did recognize it was 720, so it does have HDMI output. Featured games, you know, let's A to Z. Let's go ahead and do a game that everybody knows. Let's play Dig Dug. Okay, something's moving the earth between your feet. Never was a big fan of Dig Dug, don't know why, okay. C is pump. And that's it. Okay, let's see how the game actually functions. Okay, there we go. I think it just showed me the demo or something like that. I don't know, I never played the arcade Dig Dug. It moves around pretty well. So far, the controller's really responsive. The picture looks really nice. Let me get him. Yeah, everything's running really well, and it looks pretty nice, too. The sound is really nice. Let me try another game. Different. Let's try Mega Man 2, because Mega Man 2 one of the most popular games of all time. Okay, B is fire weapon, C is jump. And that's it. Okay. That's C. A lot of copyright text on this screen. Alright. 2000X. Man. Mega Man 2 looked really stupid in the end of 2009. Okay. Yeah, everything's looking really well. Normal. Let's do regular normal. Okay, start. I'd never played Mega Man games, so let's start. Oh, let's start with Metal Man, my favorite of the men. Just because I love his song so much. Okay. So far, I haven't had any kind of problems with the system. Oh crap, I'm having problems with the game. I am doing very bad. Don't know if I was supposed to die there or not. I'm hearing glitches every now and then, like the audio glitching. I don't know if that's a problem with the system or not. Oh no, you die regardless if you hit that or not. Okay, never mind. I didn't die for no reason. Yeah, okay. Alright. There's no problem with Mega Man. Let's try Super Street Fighter 2. Super Street Fighter 2. Don't know why, I never really liked the Street Fighter series. I guess I've just never been a fan of fighting games in general, except Smash Brothers. I did insert the coin. I think it's just me that's trying to figure out how to get used to. Okay, there we go. That's how you do it. Push one player or two player to start. And I wouldn't say this is 60 frames a second. I would have to check the footage later. Future Jackson, please put whether it said 60 frames a second or not, or the OBS may just automatically do 60 frames a second. I'm not sure. Sure, the capture application can say. But it sucked. So we're gonna try. Don't really know if I should try any more games. From what I can tell, this aside from a few little like half-second glitches every now and then, I don't think I experienced anything. That may have just been the game, just Mega Man 2 only, but this does do really well for what I got it for, $22. I'm gonna quickly fiddle around with a few things, and I will see what the firmware updates actually are for the system, and if the SD card has something to do with it. Okay, so from what I can tell, I cannot really put anything on an SD card with my computer because it doesn't have an SD card slot, surprisingly. But from what I can tell with some reviews, the firmware update, it does allow you to play Sega ROMs on it, because I'm guessing they kind of took the Sega Genesis things and put it over to here. So you could put the update and the Sega ROMs and stuff on an SD card and put it in this Legends Flashback and legally play ROMs on it, because they have the rights to the Sega games. I'm pretty sure that's probably why they made the Sega Genesis Flashback thing, and they decided to bring it over to the Legends Flashback. It does, however, have a 3 out of 5 star review, average review on Amazon. Some people say it does not work, other people say it works really well. I think if you get it from a decently well-received seller and you update it, this could actually be worth your money. And odds are you could probably mod it, and if you're really that good into modding stuff, and play all sorts of other illegal emulated games on it. But the update, from what I can see from reviewers, does allow you to play Sega ROMs on it, which is a really nice touch to this Legends Flashback, because it had only a very few number of console games. Most of them were arcade. Only about... How many was it? Only 6 games are console games, and the other 46... No, only 44 are arcade. So, putting those Sega ROMs on it will add quite a few more to your console games. But overall, Legends Flashback, from my experience, I'd rate it an 8.5 out of 10, because the menu is the interface is really well made, the menu's great, it's in 720p like it suggests. The games run flawlessly with little to no problems, and the firmware even adds more onto it. I only rate it 8.5 because there could be a chance where you get a product that doesn't work, but even if you did, you could probably just get your money back with it. Because most of the people that said that didn't work got their money back with no refund, with no problems, got the refunds with no problems. Sometimes I can't really speak very well, but I'd still give it an 8.5 out of 10. But the reason why I give it an 8.5 instead of like a 9 or higher is because if you don't have good internet access and you're just buying this for a quick weekend of playing, you're not going to get many console games. It'll mostly be arcade. So, really, you're not going to get much Sega, Super Nintendo, Nintendo games, considering Street Fighter 2 was arcade as far as its console games thing showed. The Super Street Fighter 2 one was an arcade only. Mega Man and Mega Man 2 take up a third of the console games, and that's why I'm rating an 8.5 out of 10. But that and the fact that, like I said earlier, you could still get a couple of bad ones every now and then, but that just depends on, most likely, on the seller you buy it from. But overall, this feels really nice. It's really well displayed with the menus and everything. The gameplay, from what I could tell, was very well responsive, and it's well worth $23, how much I got it for. But $45, depends on who you buy it from, $45. But even some places like Amazon would sell it for $30. And then, of course, the at-game site sells it for $60, but you can probably get it on eBay somewhere for like $20. But 8.5 is really good for something like this, compared to all the other stuff they've made. And from what I've seen from the other stuff they made, a lot of it hasn't been good, but this one surprised me. This one was really well. So, that concludes it for the Legends Flashback unboxing and review. If you guys did enjoy it, and you want to see more stuff like this, just leave a comment down below. And if you want me to review other video game systems like this, leave a comment down there as well. But aside from that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and of course, I'll see you all in the next one.